and welcome to the Basscast podcast. I am WEBev.
And I am RedX.
So, today we are going to do a couple of rave reviews. We went and saw a doubleheader, actually, two nights in a row. Not very much sleep because I had to work both days, well, the next day on both days. By the way, this is our first ever episode where we are actually recording together in the same room.
I know, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so actually Alex does not have a microphone. We're both sharing mine because I asked him to bring his, and he did not because
I didn't want to exceed the luggage weight, I guess, for having to travel.
So your microphone is like less than a pound, and so you couldn't find that somewhere.
My suitcase is very compact, and I packed a lot of stuff in a smaller suitcase. So yes. That is my excuse, and I'm sorry for all that are listening to my unbeautiful voice on my other microphone that you have to listen to it through this sexy microphone.
Okay. Anyways, so Alex and I are both here in Orlando right now, and we just got back from seeing 2 nights worth of raves. We saw Ray Volpe, we saw UBUR, we saw a local guy named Sloth, and Burn the Universe, another local person. That was all on night 1, and then night 2, we saw Jackal and Luude and Gvme Boys. Right?
Yeah, sure. Gvme Boys.
Gvme Boys. It looks like Gvme Boys, but it's probably just Game Boys. So let's talk about a little bit about the venue, because this actually, to be honest, we're probably gonna go off on a rant here.
I feel like you are, because I'll tell you my thoughts whenever you're done.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna be ranting. This venue. This is the first time we've ever been to this venue. It's just another like downtown type venue. First of all, we got there the first night, and it's got 2 entrances on like either side of the building, and it's in the middle of the street. So it's like you can't just go around the building. You have to go all the way down, go around the corner, go around another corner, then come all the way back, and then you get to the entrance of the venue.
So think of a block and down to and a
you have
downtown.
to go. Yeah,
it's like one entrance is on one side of the block, and the other entrance is on the opposite side of the block.
Yeah, and so for some reason you can't go in either side. You have to go in like only one side. Why? It made no sense because like the entrance that we tried to go in, I could see the stage. It would have been perfect. So I don't know why it was like that, but anyways, we finally did end up getting in, and actually it was Alex and myself and our friend, who's also from Alabama, but he unfortunately had sandals on and could not go in with us.
I kind of suspect. Well, I didn't know it at the time. But
Did you know that? Did you know that was a rule? Is this like?
I didn't know that it was a rule at the time, but I can now definitely see it being a rule. At least for clubs, or at least for a concert that requires a ticket, because I mean, for those that that are just listening because they just want to hear about different kinds of music and they're just happening to listen to our Basscast podcast. I mean, at least in the bass music community, I mean, when you go to concerts that have heavy bass music, I mean, you have mosh pits and
yeah,
that's literally the main one thing. And if you're caught wearing sandals, I mean, the funny thing is,
we have a
no, okay. So one thing is that we see these girls that go into these clubs, you know, they're looking their best and they're dressed their best or whatever, and they're also wearing high heels and they're participating in these freaking mosh pits. And it's just like, well, why are you trying to mosh in high heels?
How are sandals prohibited? But high heels are fine. Like, does that make sense?
I'm assuming that the rule is something to the
like
degree,
closed toe.
Yeah, is like to the degree of like you have to have a closed toe shoe, or something of that matter.
But again, like high heels.
I just think that's pretty funny though. Like
because we definitely saw that, which we will get to mosh pitting here in a second. Like we will definitely get to that in a second. But anyways, that was the first of what I think was many bad things that happened at this venue, if I'm going to be completely honest. And by the way, this venue is called Celine in downtown Orlando. And it's actually set up where it's got 3 separate stages, which is something we found out later. Yeah. It's got like a big main stage downstairs. It's got a rooftop. It's like a little rooftop stage upstairs, outside, and then a second, even smaller stage inside, but upstairs. So technically, they could do like 2 or 3 shows at the same time. But at least for our first night for Ray Volpe and UBUR, it was downstairs in the big stage, the big venue.
I would tend to call that their main stage of their, I guess, of the nightclub. The main stage of the nightclub.
Right. And so, anyways, we got there, and when we got there, the first person playing was a local person from Orlando. I ended up looking it up. He's from Orlando. His name is Burn the Universe, which the Burn the Universe, the acronym is BTU, which BTU also stands for British Thermal Unit, I believe. And I think he it's kind of part of his brand is like heat, obviously, Burn the Universe, right. British Thermal Unit, so BTU. That's kind of like his theme is like heat, I think. I hope that's correct. But anyways, so Burn the Universe was the first guy, and thoughts? He was a little bass nectar-y. He played some a little bit of old school dubstep.
He did play an old school bass nectar song. I mean, it was like, from, what was it from? It wasn't from Noise versus Beauty, but
it was from it was the we can't think.
We can't think of the name song,
but it was an older bass nectar song.
Yeah. And then he also played Gold, Stupid Love.
Yeah,
I remember he did. Yeah.
Okay, so he played Gold, Stupid Love.
Also,
he played some Liquid Strangery sounding music.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did.
Kind of like the freeform bass. He played some of that. Okay. And I think when we got there, he only played for about maybe 30 minutes because we got there in the middle of his set. Yeah. So he was playing when we first got there. But yeah, there's not too much to say. I mean, you have your local DJs that, like, they have found the type of music that they like to create and that they like to mix, and so this is like a classic local DJ, pretty much like Bass Nectar, kind of like a Bass Nectar-y type, is what I would say. But yeah, he played a lot of old school dubstep. I remember that specifically. And mind you, by the way, when we got there, like it's not crowded. This venue was not too crowded. So we've got plenty of room to move around and dance a little bit and, headbang a little bit. The music's is not too bumping. It's not bumping too much at this point. But yeah, I mean, when we got there, everything was fine. Everything seemed fine, except for the fact that our friend couldn't even go in.
Yeah, which was kind of like the first unfortunate thing.
Yeah, and he actually drove to meet us there, so it's not like he was just waiting outside on the street or anything. Like, he ended up going back home. But anyways, after Burn the Universe was done, next came Sloth. Sloth is another local DJ in Orlando, and Sloth was the last opener before UBUR. And I have to say, Sloth blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. Because when I think of a great DJ set, at least for me, when I think of a great DJ set, specifically speaking the music, I want everything. I want dubstep, I want trap, I want some future bass, I want to hear some weird stuff, I want to hear some stuff that I've heard before. And there's only a few DJs that come to my mind that do that very well. I'm thinking Ekali. When we saw Ekali, Ekali is, like, as far as the music that he plays, the different types of genres, he goes all over the EDM spectrum, and I love that. And Sloth, this guy Sloth, who I think has over 1,000 followers on SoundCloud, and you can find him there. He's got some music. Sloth had a fantastic set music-wise and visual-wise. His visuals were fantastic as well.
Really good too.
Like, he almost had different visuals every single song, which was fantastic in my opinion. because obviously you and I love, like we love to watch. Like we're there for the show, we're there for the experience, and again, I will get into that in a second, because unfortunately we're going uphill right now. We're gonna go downhill in a second.
A 10-foot uphill, but 1,000-kilometer downhill, basically.
Why did you go feet and then kilometers?
Because it's like a slight incline, and then it's just
we're about to go downhill. Yeah. So, anyways, when Sloth came out, like Alex, I think we really, really enjoyed Sloth.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Sloth. Was the surprise of the doubleheader night, I would say. So definitely check out Sloth. By the way, shout out to Sloth also for playing the Nasty Bilo collab called Tear It Down. This was on the Lost Lands 2018 compilation album, whatever it's called, because he releases that every year, right? Excision does.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, shout out to Sloth for playing that song. I love that song. It's like a very screech trappy sounding song, but like the first drop is like a very high pitched screech, and then the second drop is like an octave higher, and then that's like that screech. The screech on the second drop is an octave higher, which is awesome. What else did Sloth play? A little bit of G-Rex. Again, like I'm saying, like he was all over the place with his genre selection, which again is something that I absolutely love. So that was Sloth. Anything else on Sloth? I would definitely go check out Sloth on SoundCloud.
Yeah, for me, I mean,
so I think long story short, Sloth was the surprise of the doubleheader.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that. You know, he had the best visuals of the night, of that particular night. Overall, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, like you were saying, the genre shift of going from future bass to dubstep to trap to all the other kinds of genres. Those were really. It was a really good set.
So, by the way, at this point, we've still got plenty of room in this venue to move around, which is what Alex and I love the most. Like, we like to have our space. I get it that most shows, most raves, most festivals, it's going to be crowded. I get that. But usually you can kind of create your own little space and have room to move around. And again, up until the end of Sloth's set, we had that. We had plenty of space to do whatever we wanted. And then about midnight, UBUR came. And I'm sorry, everything went downhill at this point, because UBUR came out and started, like, before he even played one song, they started, like, the people in the middle of the crowd started forming a mosh pit. Like, and you know how they do it. They always do this. It's like cliche, honestly, in my opinion. They always, like, there's always, like, one or two leaders. Like, there's one or two guys that appoint themselves the leader of the mosh pit. And they always have a bandana over their mouth. They always have a bandana or some kind of mask. But there was, like, one guy who was towards the front of the little dance area, and he would just, like, turn around the whole time, and he's, like, doing all these hand motions, saying, like, basically saying, all right, we're gonna be moshing. And UBUR dropped his first song, and the mosh pit started, and Alex and I were really close to the middle of it. We were towards the back of it, actually, but when it started, we were, like, basically right in the middle of it. And I don't know if you want to start a tangent, like, do we want to just go through the sets first, and then we'll come back to moshing? Because I feel like we're going to rant about it.
Yeah, we can do whatever.
Let's go through UBUR and then Ray Volpe, and then we'll come back. So, we'll come back to moshing. Thoughts on UBUR?
So again, I've seen UBUR.
Yeah, you
before.
have seen UBUR. You've only seen UBUR once.
Yeah, I've only seen UBUR when Snails was doing his tour. I mean, it seemed. I think the first time was a lot better considering the mosh pit, but like, I mean, it was still a pretty good set. In my opinion.
I mean, I hate to say it. Maybe I just had a bad taste in my mouth because there was such a big mosh pit going. Like, this mosh pit took up like 80% of the dance floor.
It really did.
Like, it was terrible. But anyways, we'll get back to that. As far as UBUR goes, lots of dubstep, lots of rhythm. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Boring visuals.
Well, yeah, it gets really repetitive. Like, that's what I'm saying. So again, for Sloth, I mean, he had. I'm not really gonna like talk about his visuals, but like he had a.
He had a new design on the screens every song.
It was. I mean, granted, for Sloth, it was like the same 4 or 5 visuals, but like it wasn't, just his name over a different visual all the time during his set.
But
like
Uber,
like that's like how UBUR's and Ray Volpe's was.
UBUR's was literally the same thing throughout the entire show, pretty much, because it was just his UBUR logo zooming in and zooming out the entire time, and then maybe the background changed a little bit, but. Again, like I love like when I go to a show, I'm there for the music, the performance, and the visuals. Like we're taking in all this stuff, and I'm sorry if I only get 2 out of 3 of those, then that's a score of 66 out of 100 for me. I mean, right? Is that the correct math there?
Yes.
So. I mean, again, good music, and UBUR does have a couple of really good originals. I think we've had an UBUR song on one of our previous episodes. UBUR has good originals, but I mean, like to be honest, that mosh pit just about ruined UBUR's set for me. So I apologize, UBUR. I apologize. That's my thoughts on it. So UBUR played for about an hour, and then next was the highlight of the night was Ray Volpe, the headliner of the night, and Ray Volpe, unfortunately, the 80% of the dance floor mosh pit continued. And you still had our leader savior, the guy with the mask, who. Of course, is doing all his hand motions, saying, "All right, we're gonna mosh," or whatever. Yeah, he does a thing like if there's a large build-up. He's like, there's that one guy who runs around the mosh circle, like waving his hand around in circles, like basically showing everybody that this is what's gonna happen. Yeah. And honestly, to me, it's like cliche at this point. I think it's like the whole moshing idea is cliche, but that leader, quote unquote, guy is definitely cliche. At least in my eyes. But anyways, so finally we got to Ray Volpe, who was the headliner of the night. Did you remember them turning up the music, like the volume? Did you feel like you turned? I
didn't really feel like they did turn it up. I felt like it was kind of like just a gradual, turn up.
If they turn it up, it was very slightly.
It was very slightly, yeah.
Because I've noticed.
I didn't really notice it, but. I felt like it kind of gradually increased a little bit per DJ.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'll tell you something about Ray Volpe. I don't know if you remember, and if any of our listeners have ever been to a Midnight Tyrannosaurus show. Midnight Tea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Midnight Tea. Why is it not Midnight T-Rex? It should be Midnight T-Rex, right?
I mean... Yeah, but I think it's just a better flow to say Midnight Tea.
Because his name is Midnight Tyrannosaurus, not Midnight Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Midnight Tea, what are you doing? It should be Midnight T-Rex. Or MT Rex. MT Rex, right? Anyways,
Midnight Tea, talk to us for different names.
Yeah. Contact us on Twitter. at WEBev RedX.
Yeah.
So, anyways... Midnight Tyrannosaurus plays a show with very few build-ups. It almost seems like the entire show is dubstep. I mean, I know most every song is dubstep, but I mean, mostly only dubstep drops is what I'm saying. Ray Volpe, that was the closest thing to Midnight Tyrannosaurus I've heard was Ray Volpe. Not a lot of build-ups, mostly just dubstep drops. Is that a bad thing? I
wouldn't say so.
You would not say so.
No. I mean, you have people that want it to go hard like every single time and then that don't really care to have, I guess, so to speak, a lull in the set. But I mean, I'm fine with that, but I mean, if you have a DJ that for instance, does have different lulls in their set, I mean, that's fine with me.
Well, I don't, not a lull, but like, for some reason I like it to have maybe like, drop, 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 and then like a long build up, and then a big drop. Because a lot of times whenever I'm trying to figure out when to record a song, like with my phone, I wait for a long build up because I know probably it's going to be, a big drop or an original song, and it's going to have good visuals, and it's going to be, for a good video.
Yes.
So I like to, that's why I think that's personally why I like to have long build, or that's why personally I like to have some build-ups that are a little bit longer than the others. But, I mean, I don't remember very many times where Ray Volpe was not already dropping a hard dubstep drop. You know what I mean? Good bass. Again, I don't remember if they turned up the volume. I don't think they did. If they did, it was very, very slightly. It was very, very slight, but I remember very good bass. I assume he played a couple of his originals that we heard. Because we left a little bit early because I had to wake up early the next morning for work. But I remember did he play like maybe one or two of his... At least one or two of his visuals that we heard.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, like the mosh pit was going on at this point and had been going on for over the past hour. And so I don't know if you felt the same way, but I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth at that point because, like, anyways, we'll get into that in a second. Is Ray Volpe, which record label is he with?
I don't think he's with a current record label. At least I don't, because I just recently started following him. I'm unsure if he is with a record label or if he has his own record label. But I'm pretty sure he has released off of some of the labels that I follow. I'm not 100% sure, but...
Okay. I feel like I've seen him maybe on either Black Label or...
Something like that, yeah.
Or Circus, maybe? I don't know. I'll tell you something else I remember and I noticed was UBUR, super tall, Ray Volpe. A little short?
Yeah. He was pretty short.
Is he pretty
I really have no idea. But yeah, UBUR, I remember UBUR being super tall. But like UBUR, but like Ray Volpe, he's like, I don't know. He's kind of...
Because, well, the only, and we're not trying to make fun of him, but, there's a point when at the end of person A's set, person B comes up there and starts setting up. And so UBUR is super tall. So I don't know if Ray Volpe is short or if he's normal height and just looks short because UBUR is so tall.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is UBUR's name UBUR because he's uber tall? Because he's uber tall. He's super tall. I don't know.
Conspiracy. EDM theories.
That could be an EDM theory. Do we have any idea where Ray Volpe or UBUR got their names?
Isn't Ray Volpe his actual name?
Is it?
I thought. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we should actually do some research before we record these episodes. Maybe we should. Oh, goodness. But, yeah, I mean, Ray Volpe was good. Ray Volpe was the best of the night. I don't know. I might have to say I liked Sloth better. But, again, that's just because...
Of all the factors that go into it.
Yeah, of the other factors. And, like, at this point, Alex and I were already really annoyed with the venue. So, it might just be all the other things that came into play. But, Ray Volpe's music, obviously it was hard. Like, his set was hard, but, yeah, I really enjoyed Sloth that night. I really enjoyed Sloth. Maybe more than Ray Volpe. But again, Ray Volpe and UBUR didn't really have a fair judgment in my book because of all the other things that were happening. Thoughts on Ray Volpe?
I definitely wanted to see him.
Yeah, this was more your type show.
Yeah, because I've been listening to his music for about over 2 years now, and I knew I wanted to see him, about a year ago, and so we finally got the opportunity to come and see him. I mean, unfortunately, it kind of didn't go as we planned, but I mean, we can say that we have seen him live.
We got the credit. We got the EDM credit, which is not what we're all about.
Right.
You know, like we actually want to support and see these artists and these producers, but I think it's cool to keep up with your EDM credits and say, oh yeah, I've seen this person, I've not seen this person. Anyways, that was night one of our little doubleheader. Do you want to talk about mosh pits?
Yeah, because so like, do you want to start this?
I mean, okay. Do you have any desire at all to be involved in the mosh pit?
No, none whatsoever. I think they're incredibly stupid. I think that we understand. Okay, I guess we understand the points of moshing.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get it that like there's loud music being played, like everybody's going crazy. I get it, but
wanting to literally knock people over and push people and I mean, just like there's other people that want to like go hard with you, but like not as hard as you. But stay in like your freaking space.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and here's one problem. One problem with this venue is that, oh my goodness, this venue, the entire outlay of the venue, the dance floor, was terrible in my opinion. Think of a rectangle and put it on its side where like the short ends are like you're looking at the long ends, like the long ends are I don't know how
in front of you and behind you.
No. Like, think of it this way. So let's put yourself in a rectangular shaped venue. Put the stage in front of you, and then put, like the VIP area and the bar behind you. And now make the shape of this rectangular venue where the sides, the long sides, are on your left and right, and the short sides are behind the bar behind you and behind the stage in front of you. That's what this venue was. And the dance floor area only took about maybe 15-20% of the whole venue, of the floor of the venue.
Yeah.
Like the stage was maybe 20-30%. The dance floor was like 20%.
Yes.
Then you had a VIP area that was 20, 30, 50, 70. And then the bar was like, bar and other standing area was like the rest of the other 30 area, the other 30% of the area. Mm-hmm. So that, I hope that kind of visualizes how this was. A 20%, only 20% area for dancing is not great. And on top of that, this place, this is where, that little dance area is where the mosh pit started. And it was not just a small little mosh pit. No. It took up literally 80-90% of that dance floor. And Alex and I, obviously, we always love to be right in the middle towards the back because we're a little bit taller, so we don't want to be blocking too many people's views. But we were in the middle back, like right in front of the VIP area, and the mosh pit, of course, you've got Homeboy over here with the mask starting the mosh pit as soon as UBUR started. And that mosh pit took up literally 70-80% of the dance floor. Yeah. So it's not like you can avoid it. Like when you go to a festival, you can see, like you can kind of look over the crowd and see, oh, there's a mosh pit over there. Oh, there's a mosh pit to my 2 o'clock, whatever. You can see that there's mosh pits and you can kind of avoid them. At this place, there was no way if being on that dance floor and avoiding the mosh pit, because even if you did avoid it, then it was like super crowded because it was with all the other people that did not want to be involved in the mosh pit. So where Alex and I were, it like the mosh pit kind of grew and got bigger, and there was no way for us to avoid it besides just going back. And so we were basically at the back of the dance floor, right next to the VIP area. Lots of people, like it went from us having a lot of room to having absolutely no room because this stupid mosh pit started. And it goes every single song, every single dubstep drop, they're doing their pushing and shoving thing. And like there's only a few select people that want to get involved in that. I've noticed also there's a lot of people that want to just record it, I guess, and just put it online.
Mm-hmm.
I like, okay, I guess I get that, but there's a very, very big majority of people that don't want to do moshing at these shows. Like us, we're there literally to support the artists, to experience their set and all their visuals and everything, and to maybe even hear some music we've never heard before. So my idea is like, maybe these venues need to have like a mosh area and like just people want to experience the show area, you know?
So, okay, let me say something here. Okay. So I'm not a fan of moshing. I guess you're not a fan of moshing.
Definitely not.
Okay. I would say for myself is the only acceptable place for moshing would be at a festival. Okay?
Because there's way more.
Because there's a ton of room, and you can have, I don't know, one on the left side, one on the right side, maybe one in the middle, backish a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of times if it's a big festival ground, there'll be like 2 or 3 that form all over.
Right. And there can be a ton of room in between you and the mosh pits, because you can be in the far, far back, where we are not
right in front of the sound
having a great time as our own. When you go to a small venue, like for instance, the ones that we've been to, like Celine, or where we saw it down
any indoor,
and any indoor one where it's going to be, first off, it's going to be small. Second, it's going to be crowded, and you're going to be pushed up against people. Yeah, we've been there. It shouldn't be a thing. Like I honestly feel like the nightclubs.
It should be illegal in nightclubs.
I feel like they should ban moshing in nightclubs.
I agree.
Small nightclubs like the ones that we have here in Orlando.
I don't think there's a big enough nightclub that can handle, like, it's just not a good place for moshing. Like, it's not like if somebody falls down, which happens every single time.
Every time.
It's not like you can fall down on soft grass.
Yeah.
It's a concrete ground.
It's a hard floor.
It's usually sticky and wet.
Yeah, because people keep dropping their drinks.
People drop their drinks all the time. It's not like It's not like a festival ground where you fall on like grass and you can just get right back up. Like,
yeah, or something like that.
And I'll just say this: like, we saw at least 4 or 5 times like somebody fall, and there was even a couple of times where it was a girl that decided to get in the mosh pit, and she fell down.
Like, she literally got pushed down.
Yeah, like, and again, we get it. Like, we know people are not trying to literally push to be mean. We get it. But still, it's not a good look. Like, you push down a girl. And, I mean, luckily, this girl at this venue, like, she had a great attitude about it. She got right back up and she was smiling and laughing. Mm-hmm. But, like, you could seriously injure someone.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think about sometimes, like, like, if we go to a rave with friends, like, with our friends that have never been, like, what if we bring a girl there? Like, what if we take a girl?
I've actually been in that situation. Luckily, because that's when I went to go see Snails. We had
you had a girl in your party.
Yeah. And luckily I don't think there was a mosh pit, but then honestly, I'm thankful that there wasn't a mosh pit. Like, but
yeah, because what if you got, like, sometimes they just form and you can't get out of them fast because there's so many people.
Yeah.
What if you get caught in a mosh pit, people start pushing, and then, like, your friend gets knocked over and gets hurt?
Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible. It's just, like, I'm not even saying I want it at festivals. I'm just saying it's way more acceptable at festivals. It should be more acceptable at festivals.
I think it should only be done at festivals.
It should not be.
It shouldn't be done in inside nightclub venues.
I would definitely agree with that. Definitely.
That's what makes the experience worse, is when there's mosh pits in an inside nightclub venue.
Yeah. And it's always,
especially if it's small.
It's always these roughhousing guys that, they don't, like, they want to get pushed around and they want to push other people, but, like, then you get this, like, there were several times we saw a girl got involved, and it's like, if you're a guy, can you really push a girl that hard in a mosh pit? Like, how does that work? What are the rules? Because if you push her down and hurt her, is that like illegal?
I feel like once you're in the mosh pit, there's like no rules. Honestly,
pretty much.
Like,
I will say, to
go crazy.
I will say, and if you are a fan of mosh pits, listen up, because this is the one positive thing I will say about mosh pits. Every time I've seen this happen where somebody falls down, the only positive thing I can say about mosh pits is every time someone falls down, usually people do like stop, and they'll like put out their arms and hands around the person who falls down and like give them a chance to get up. It's not like someone falls down and they just keep getting trampled or something. Like thank goodness EDM fans are nice enough to like do that, and I've always seen that. That was not just that this night that I saw it. I've seen that several times when I've seen like mosh pits. If someone falls down, usually there's like 2 or 3 other people that notice it and will, like kind of guard the person who's down and like, kind of like a barrier, like a barrier around them, and like put out their arms and will kind of stay around them until they get up and they're like dust themselves off or whatever. That's the only thing.
That's the only good thing I can think of.
And that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's how it happens at other types of concerts, but at EDM concerts, I feel like all of the EDM fans and people in the EDM community are nice enough that they will do that. But I don't know if that happens at other types of shows, like metal shows. I have no idea.
Well, since there was like a short phase for me, I did watch some metal festivals online. And I don't know if they do mosh, but like they do something where they just run in circles. Like they create, it looks like a donut looking kind of shape, and like they have a hole in the center where there's just people standing, but then like where the donut, like where the part you eat the donut, there's like just people just running around this circle of people.
Yeah,
I don't really know if that's what that's called, because I don't...
Donuting?
I don't know if it's like circle moshing or I have no idea.
Well,
maybe they call it. Well, no, that's also called moshing because it's called the pit. But
the pit. Yeah.
I guess it's called circle moshing. I don't know. I really have no idea what it's called. That's the only other kind of, I guess, moshing quote unquote that I've seen at metal concerts.
Oh, you're talking about that at metal concerts?
Yeah. Metal.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were saying that happens at EDM concerts, and I was thinking I've never seen that.
No.
The only other type of thing I've seen is like sometimes at the hardstyle festivals they'll do like everybody like jumps to the right, like to the right,
yes,
right, jump to the left. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
I think I'm okay with that. It's not really trampling.
Because that's usually like everyone in sync.
Yeah, that's not really. And that's part of the music too. I get it. Like some of these dubstep songs are all about like open the mosh pit, all that stuff. But like Riot 10, I feel like every single Riot 10 song, he's just trying to create a mosh pit. Yeah. But yeah, I get it. I understand, and I think you do too. Like we understand why moshing is popular and why people do it. I think just don't do it in inside venues, in indoor venues. And maybe that's a bad job on the venue itself. Maybe they should be enforcing that better. Because, by the way, this was yet another venue that had zero security to get in.
Well,
I could have easily. Again, I've said this before. I'm not ever going to do this, but I could have easily brought in a weapon if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Lord forbid that ever happened, but I'm just saying it's possible because it's happened recently I don't know about EDM concerts, but like concerts where someone's brought in a weapon, Yeah. So, not too much good going for this venue so far. And I hate to say it, but it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, it is pretty much going to get worse, too.
Night 2. So, anything else on night 1?
So, obviously, just to conclude, I think we both like Sloth. has
we both were surprised
by Sloth. Yeah.
Sloth was awesome. If we hate moshing, hate moshing.
I to be specific for me, I hate moshing in inside venues. Do it more in festivals. Keep it to festivals.
Keep it at festivals. Festivals and outdoor venues.
Yeah. Those are the thoughts from me to take away from night one.
I would say the same thing as you. Sloth was a great surprise. Ray Volpe was good. UBUR, I'm sorry, you gotta step up those visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta do something else. Like, I don't know what UBUR's theme is. Like, does it have anything to do with Uber, like driving Uber? No. Okay.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm associated with it. Besides being Uber tall, adjective,
Uber tall,
yeah.
Uber bassy. Ray Volpe had pretty good visuals, though, if I remember correctly. And yeah, again, I'm sorry, UBUR and Ray Volpe. Bad taste in my mouth, and it's probably not even your fault because it's not like they were encouraging the mosh pits.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we would have enjoyed your sets if there was no mosh pit.
If there was no mosh pits.
That literally took up like 70-80% of the whole entire venue.
So that was night one. I had to go to work the next day, came back, and then Alex and I went back to the same venue.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Back to the same venue. This time we knew where to go, where to enter in. And night two we went to see Jackal, Luude, and then a local duo, Gvme Boys. This was more a night that I was looking forward to because Jackal has been one of my favorite producers for the past 2 years. Ever since he released an EP called Endorphins. And so I was super excited to see Jackal. Luude was another one that plays a lot of experimental type trap music. And Jackal and Luude, I was so excited to see these two guys on the big stage with the big screens, and also to see who else was opening for him. So we got in, and the entire downstairs big stage was closed. It was closed off.
I mean, they had the stage going.
It was on.
There was the visuals screens for the big stage. They were on, but they were just saying Celine. And there was nobody there because they had a whole entire blocked off.
Yeah,
because
you couldn't even get to it. You couldn't even get to it. And so when we walked in, I didn't realize that you couldn't get into it, and I said, "Oh wow, we're the only ones here," because there was nobody standing there. Yeah. And then we realized you have to walk upstairs, and then upstairs there's a little bar, and then you keep walking out through these double doors that goes outside, and there's a little rooftop stage. This rooftop stage, I kid you not, was basically a wooden table with 3 turntables.
Yeah, it was like 3 decks and a mixture.
And we got out there, and when we got out there, it was Gvme Boys. Well, probably Gvme Boys, but it was Gvme Boys playing, which is, by the way, it's a local Orlando duo. We got out there, and they were playing, and there was maybe 50 people there. Would you say 50?
I would say like maybe about 20 people that are actually there for the music.
Yeah, only like maybe 20 people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like talking or
in the VIP area or...
I'm saying like maybe 50 people total.
Yeah, 50 people on the rooftop, I would definitely say.
So when we got up there, I had to ask several different people and make sure, like, we are at the right venue, right? Like, this is where Jackal and Luude are playing. Like, Jackal has over 100,000 followers on SoundCloud, and we're playing at this little tiny venue. It was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like the total number of people that could be out there, I would say, is maybe like 120 total.
I feel like that's a lot.
Maybe just 100. Like,
I was going to say like,
capacity,
maybe between like 75 to 100.
Like the total capacity of that little venue, that little outdoor stage,
something like that.
Maybe about less than 100.
Yeah, 100 or less. Yeah.
So if that puts it in perspective, like how many people could actually be there, we got up there and we're thinking like, are we sure this is the right area? Because, you know, Jackal and Luude are big trap producers. Why are they playing at this little tiny venue? And so I asked several different workers, like a couple of the VIP guys are working there. I even went up, like, you could, like, literally walk up to the DJ booth and just talk to them.
It was a very open DJ booth, basically, is what it was.
Very open, very, like, I think some people describe it as very intimate. Yeah. Like, because you can literally go up there and talk to them while they're playing. Talk to the DJ, yeah. So I even went up there and I asked him, I was like, is this where Jackal and Luude are playing? And he said yes. And I said, why are they not playing downstairs at the big stage? Like, these are two big producers. And they said, apparently, since there was not enough tickets sold in advance, they don't play it at the big stage, because that means there's more, like, they have to pay more workers, like, to work at the bar, work at the sound booth and all that stuff. But this venue was so small, it didn't even have a sound booth. Like, I'm pretty sure the sound booth was just, you know, a little soundboard to the left of the DJ booth, probably. That could have been controlled by the DJs themselves. So the crazy thing was that, like, we got up there and it's just like we were baffled that this terrible, goodness gracious venue had decided to put gigantic EDM trap producers upstairs in this small venue. I mean, no visuals, no screens, like maybe one or two lights. There was like two or three lights, yeah, that didn't flash at all. I don't think. Maybe they changed colors. It was pitiful. That no other word for, and this is like, I hope someone at Selena is listening to this. Like, that was a terrible decision. I don't care if there was not enough ticket sales. Like, these are huge producers and they have worked so hard to get to this point where they're playing these types of sets. Like, put them on the big stage because they have earned it, and like, it's such a better opportunity for the local people that are opening to be put on the big stage, because, like, we don't see them as big, you know, possible opportunistic producers in the future if they're just playing at a little tiny venue like this, or they're just playing, like, you know, on a wooden fold up table with 3 decks, and that's it. Like, you can literally go up and talk to them. Like, that doesn't create a lot of potential for growth, in my opinion. But anyways, I mean, all that being said, both the Gvme Boys guys we talked to, and they're both really, really friendly. Like I said, they're both from Orlando. They have actually a pretty decent following on SoundCloud. They have almost 2,000 followers. They have several songs that have around 20,000 plays. They're trying to get on with a record company called Quality Goods Records, which is apparently the record company that Uzi is with. And that was what one of them told me. And so I think one of them actually knows somebody that plays with that is with that record label. But anyways, as far as Gvme Boys goes, they played mostly dubstep. They mixed in some future bass, a little bit of trap. I enjoyed that set. The music, at least.
Just the music by itself was really good. I like the mixes. Yeah.
It's like a white guy and a kind of black guy, and the black guy has this huge afro.
That was awesome.
He came up and talked to us for about maybe like 10 minutes. He was super friendly. But I mean, like, I was asking them, you know, like, if the plan was always to have everybody play up here tonight, and he said that basically the whole night it was advertised terribly. Like, it was promoted terribly. All the promoters that usually, you know, promote these shows in Orlando, I think most of them were working on Ray Volpe, because Ray Volpe had a good turnout. Oh, okay. That show had a good turnout.
That would make sense to me.
But I mean, it's like one night right after the other. So I wonder if, like, people decide, like, people choose, you know, do I want to go see a night of trap or a night of dubstep? And do you think people do that, or do you think most people that like both of those types of music will say, oh yeah, I'll go to both?
Well, I mean, that would be us in that situation, but I mean, for instance, like, I want to say maybe a couple of those guys that were at Ray Volpe may have
Maybe,
but yeah, I feel like for most people it would have been a decision if I wanted to go see this DJ or this DJ.
Right. Yeah, I think you might be right. Maybe there's a few people that we saw both nights, but not too many. But anyways, yeah, I would give Gvme Boys a couple of thumbs up. They did a good job, and I hope that they can, it works out with him and getting signed with his record company.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. So after Gvme Boys, which by the way I say Gvme Boys because they spell their name Gvme and then Boys. So after Gvme Boys was Luude. Luude is also spelled weird, Luude. He is from Australia. I think the main reason we know about Luude is because he has a song called "Don't Leave Me," which is like a kind of experimental trap song, and that song is awesome. And I had discovered a couple other Luude songs, but I don't think anything has ever surpassed "Don't Leave Me." He's got a song he came out with last year, I believe, called "Omen," another great song. He did not play "Omen" while he was in Orlando. He did play "Don't Leave Me," and so we went up and we were like, "Yeah, that's your best original," and so he got all excited. But Luude was kind of all over. Luude actually started with a lot of drum and bass. Like the first maybe 5 songs.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the first song he did a trap song, but there was like 5 drum and bass songs in a row that he played.
Oh yeah, that is right. Okay, yeah, he did because he did play like a trappy-ish intro, but then like he
went to right to drum and bass.
Yeah,
because I was thinking like
went to drum and bass.
I was thinking like
drum and bass and jungle. I do remember that.
Yeah, he had jungle song. Like because I was thinking. Luude doesn't produce drum and bass. I don't think. I mean, maybe he does, and I just don't know. But I thought he was mostly trap. But he was mixing in several drum and bass songs in his set. But then towards the end, like he had trap, he had a little bit of dubstep, he had some house music at the very very end. And the highlight of the night was when he mixed a Post Malone. He mixed Post Malone's
"Fall Apart."
I Fall Apart. The lyrics with Inception soundtrack music, which I'm sure most EDM fans have heard of. Inception. It's that Christopher Nolan movie with Leonardo DiCaprio about dreams, like where all this stuff happens in the dreams. Which that soundtrack is by a guy named Hans Zimmer, who does a lot of big Hollywood movie soundtracks. He's a fantastic music maker at least for cinema, and the music from that movie is gorgeous. And somehow Luude, I don't know if Luude took this idea from someone or if Luude literally found out that this would sound good, but he took Inception soundtrack music and put it in the background of a Post Malone "I Fall Apart," the really pretty Post Malone song, and that was like I was getting chills. Cool. I got chills at that.
That was really cool.
That was definitely the highlight, one of the highlights of the night. Another highlight was, this little venue is so intimate. Like you could literally walk up to the VIP area and talk to people there. So while Luude was playing, I took it upon myself to go talk to Jackal, and so I actually met him. And I told him I basically told him I've been listening ever since Endorphins. I love that song, or I love that CD. I love that song "With You," and he actually told me that he thought that whole EP was terrible except for one song. I guess now he thinks it's terrible, and he was saying that he's got so much. He told me he's got so much more better stuff coming. So I guess keep your eye on Jackal. But as far as Jackal goes, if you like experimental future bass and experimental future trap, Jackal is your guy. Like he just able to do these things with different sound wave sounding synths, and I don't think anybody comes close. Like Jackal is in a whole different league as far as like nobody sounds like Jackal. You know how there's certain EDM producers that kind of sounds like da da da.
Yeah.
Like when you hear a Jackal song, it doesn't sound like anybody, and nobody creates music like Jackal. at least in my opinion. So I was super, super, super excited to see Jackal, super stoked to even meet him, and he was super nice. But yeah, long story short, when I talked to him, basically he said that he's got a lot of other stuff coming. And I told him, like, I was like, on behalf of the city of Orlando, I am so sorry that you're playing in this little tiny dinky venue, this little dinky rooftop venue instead of downstairs at the big stage. And he said he was kind of confused about it, but he was like, like both him and Luude had a good attitude about it. So I was glad about that. So anyways, yeah, Jackal started about 1 a.m. and we stayed until about 1:45, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Because again, this was a Thursday night, so I had to go back to work the next day. Jackal played a lot of his originals, which I was happy about. He opened with "Don't Come Near Me, I'm a Monster," which is such a cool song. He played. What else did he play? He played a lot of drum and bass. Do you remember? He would go from like maybe 3 or 4 trap songs, and then he played an original. And then there's one point where he played about 6 or 7 drum and bass songs. He had great flow. Jackal had a lot of good energy while he was up there, along with Luude. Luude had good energy when he was up there. By the way, I was going to ask you this. So, like, I don't know if you noticed, but both Jackal and Luude, like, you know how, excuse me, you know how a lot of times these EDM producers have the microphones. They can, they'll scream into the mic in between songs, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. They didn't do that. Luude and Jackal did not do that.
Yeah.
Is it better when they don't do that, or do you like to have have them talking?
I think it would be cool, I guess, to do it like on their original songs or like on a big drop or something like that, but not something like Slushy where it's like every other drop or whatever. You know what I mean?
Slushy literally says 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 every drop, pretty much,
almost.
But yeah, like Jackal and Luude, I think they maybe used the microphone once at the beginning. They're like, like let's rock. Let's go.
What up, intercity name here?
Yeah, like, what's up, Orlando? Yeah. But, oh man, I loved both Jackal and Luude. And Gvme Boys. I liked all 3 of those sets. The disappointment of that night, though, was that they were forced to play at this little tiny rooftop stage where only maybe 100 people could have fit. Like, the capacity was maybe 100 people. So yeah, I was disappointed with that. There was a couple points where I went to the bar to ask for water, and I like to go to bars at these venues to see if they'll give me water for free or not. And luckily, this venue did give me free water, but a lot of times they make you pay for like a water bottle or something. So that's, I guess, 1 point for the venue. But again, like, what was Celine Orlando? What was it thinking, putting these giant trap producers at a little tiny rooftop, like, basically fold-up table.
Yeah.
Basically. I was not happy about that, but all in all, it was a good night. I feel like we talked to a lot of people that night. I mean, again, maybe sometimes these shows are great to be intimate and, like, be smaller because you do meet more people. But, like, again, these are huge. Like, Jackal is a huge producer. Mm-hmm. He has over 100,000 followers. So, there's a point where you got to say, they deserve to be on the big stage. So, I mean, that was just my thoughts on that second night. But again, all 3 of those sets were fantastic. Which, by the way, Jackal is from the United Kingdom. And as we all know, Europe likes drum and bass more than North America. So I'm wondering if that's why. But Luude is from Australia,
which I think that Australians,
do they also like
drum and bass and hardstyle, more of those kinds.
Yes. Okay. So then maybe because Luude played like some of those house.
He did play a few. Yeah, he did play some house, and he did play
like 1 or 2 hardstyle.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, Jackal was originally from the UK, so I guess he's got that. He's got that gene in him that wants to play more
faster BPM.
Some faster BPM. So Yeah. Anyways, that was night 2. Any other thoughts?
Honestly, I think just even without the visuals, maybe night 2 was better than night 1.
I have to agree with you, just because mosh pitting.
Even though there were no visuals, and due to the moshing for Ray Volpe, and UBUR,
yeah,
I think night 2 was slightly better than night 1.
I think I have to agree with you, but I can't really say that. I can't really say much because night 2 was more for me. Night 1 was more for you. So, yeah. Okay. What about ranking all 7 of these?
Ranking what?
Ranking these 7 sets. Who would you put at the very bottom?
At the very bottom?
I think I have my list, and it's going to be... I think my least favorite was UBUR.
Maybe. UBUR or...
UBUR. Do
BTU.
something about those visuals, man.
Yeah, UBUR or BTU.
I'd probably put UBUR then BTU for me. And then...
maybe Gvme Boys. Then maybe Ray Volpe.
Then Sloth.
Then Sloth. Then Luude. Then Jackal, maybe.
Okay. So Jackal was your favorite?
Yeah. Well,
Jackal was definitely my favorite.
I mean, just trying to go off of all of the experience of everything. I mean, granted, there were visuals for Ray Volpe, but there were no visuals for Jackal. There was a mosh pit for Ray Volpe. There wasn't a mosh pit for Jackal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to...
I guess I'm thinking set only. Sorry, not set.
Mix only.
Yeah. Well, visuals, music, and then the actual show of him up there.
Yeah.
So, in that
energy
order.
of him.
Yeah, so... But you still say Jackal over Ray Volpe?
Moshing is just a huge part for
it just really ruins.
It really does.
I mean, if you get caught up in a mosh pit, it really can ruin your day, I think.
Well, at least ruin the experience.
Yeah.
More like.
I think it left a bad taste in our mouth, to be honest.
I think it did.
Wow. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, I think I agree with you. Jackal was probably my favorite of the little doubleheader night. But yeah, the main takeaways from this little doubleheader: mosh pits inside are stupid.
Yeah.
This Celine Orlando venue needs to get its act together. Seriously. Y'all, and if you want our help, if you'd like for us to consult for you, we would love to do that. It might cost a little bit. Because we have valuable opinions.
Yes, we have.
Our opinions cost. But I think that venue really needs to reconsider several different aspects of their live shows.
Yeah, regardless of how many people RSVP to tickets or whatever.
Yeah, that should not matter.
That doesn't need to matter.
That definitely should not matter. But anyways, anything else on these 2 nights?
No, I mean, it was just, I do kind of want to ask your opinion about this. Do you think, so there's one in particular venue that we absolutely will never ever go back to. And so, in Orlando. And so
I kind of don't know about that.
I kind of want to just get your thoughts on if it's something like that. So the venue that I probably will never go back to is called Guilt. It's on the opposite side of where we are from Orlando.
Yeah, it's a far drive.
First off, it's a far drive for us, and second off, it's just a terrible layout. So I was wanting to get your opinion on if Celine is something of that kind of... Did Celine have that kind of impact on you to where you've been there once, well, you've been there twice now. Do you ever care to go see another set in there at that nightclub?
I think if I go back to that nightclub, I will call beforehand and ask them, are you gonna have these DJs playing downstairs in the big stage? And if they say yes, I will say, okay, are you sure? And if they say yes again, then I'll go. if they say no, that wasn't enough tickets, I might not go unless it's a small DJ already, like unless it's like a, you know, like a couple of like lesser known DJs. But compared to that other venue, Guilt is also a rectangular shaped venue, except instead of the way that Celine is, it's turned sideways, where it's like you're looking at the stage, and behind the stage is a very long wall, and the two walls on your left and right are very short, and then obviously you've got the long wall behind you. That venue doesn't really work either, just because it's so long and slender.
So wide,
it's like either if you're in the middle of the venue, great, but if you're not, like there's way more room on the sides, but then you get like just the worst view of the DJ stage. So I don't know. Both of those are just not great. Like it has to be a big name that I've never seen probably to go back to both of those venues.
Yeah,
I would say.
Same for me.
I would say. Well, I think that will just about do it for us. So everyone, take care and have a good night.
See y'all.
Ooh, yeah, drop it hard.
RYVE Radio. Today we've got some special credits. We've got a shout out Slayle, shout out Paradigm, shout out Cody Diodato. No Emotion Allowed 2018, sad dubstep kids everywhere. From Volpetron, says see you next time, whatever that means.